Hey guys, I'm back. This is Dr. Jessica Wilson, and I am pretty much brand new to YouTube. So as I mentioned in my intro video, bear with me guys because I am brand spanking new at this. I had explained in that video I'd been hesitating on putting this content up and actually getting this work done because I was really the only one holding my back. I was scared. I was living in a fearful mindset where I thought, man, this isn't gonna be right from the first, right out the gate, and something just told me I just need to start. Well, actually not something, but a lot of people that I've met have told me you just need to get started and just put yourself out there. So the purpose of this video is to show you guys or explain to you guys how I became a veterinarian and everything that led up to this day. So I am a veterinarian that is specialty trained in dentistry and oral surgery. So that is all I do day in and day out. I don't do vaccines anymore, spay, neuter, those things that general practice veterinarians do, but instead I specialize in advanced dentistry and oral surgery procedures. So that was pretty cool. I can geek out on that for sure. But to explain what it took to get here, so it's basically taken a decade of my life. And I think this will be really useful information for anyone who's interested in becoming a veterinarian or anybody who is in vet school, so that they can know that what the options are if things weren't explained clearly. Maybe you're a first-year student and you're still kind of learning the ropes as far as what your future may look like. So, so here goes. So I'm from New York City. So you guys can see New York is in my background, even though I live in Southern California now. But I'm from New York City, the Bronx specifically. I was born and raised. I did everything there. I was a New Yorker that was never gonna leave. So that makes this story even more interesting from my perspective at least. But I always knew I wanted to be a veterinarian. I was one of those kids that knew from the age of 4 or 5 years old that I wanted to work with animals somehow. And sorry, there's a cat right here. That's Rupert. But again, I knew from a really, really early age that I wanted to be a veterinarian. I knew that these guys didn't have a voice necessarily, and I wanted to be an advocate. I wanted to be the one that can help them and can do something for them because they couldn't talk. That was literally what my explanation to my mom was when I told her, Mom, I want to be an animal doctor. That's what I wanted to do. And so I ended up knowing that was my calling. Went all through high school. I did my undergrad degree at NYU. I got a bachelor's in anthropology, and that's, again, not super, well, I guess it depends on how you look at it. Not necessarily very science-y or medical science-y based degree to obtain, especially if I'm going to apply to veterinary medical school. But the reason I chose that was I wanted to be well-rounded. I knew I was going to be in the sciences for the rest of my life. We're doctors, we're scientists. So I decided to choose a degree that was just completely not related in many ways. So I got my bachelor's in anthropology, and then I applied to veterinary medical school. Gosh, it's very competitive. So it took me 3 years of applying, or I think 2 or 3 years of applying in a row to finally get in. And I was accepted at a foreign school, or I guess I'll say overseas. I attended Ross University, which is located in the island of St. Kitts. And that was a blast. I mean, it was, yes, we're on an island. There were some struggles, but the education was amazing. So I had a time in my life. I was on the island for 2.5 years, learning to really kind of come out of my shell. I've always been a very social and gregarious person, and that could be coming out of your shell while you're in a really high stress environment and high stress setting, that could be a video topic for another day, because that could be a really long topic. But I ended up spending 2.5 years there. That was the time required for preclinical studies. Then I ended up at the University of Minnesota for my clinical year. And the reason I chose that city, or rather that school in the Twin Cities, was, hey, I'm a New Yorker, I need a city. I've been away from metropolitan life for 2.5 years. I really just wanted to be somewhere metropolitan, or as close to New York City as possible as far as city life. So I ended up in the Twin Cities, and I completed my year of clinical rotations, and I was mixed animal. So that was something really cool about Ross. You are required, well, I don't know if it's changed, but at the time when I was a student there, you're required to complete and there's another cat. You're required, I'm a crazy cat lady. Oh, that's Sophie. You're required to complete a large animal or a mixed animal track, and that just better prepares you for boards. And so did mixed animals, so the city girl that had never really touched a cow in her life was working on large animals, so that was pretty cool. Then I did an internship, a 1-year internship in small animal medicine, surgery, and emergency medicine in Brooklyn, New York. And that was, probably one of the most challenging years of my life, but got through it with support. It was a long year. It was a long year. That's when I knew I did not want to be in emergency medicine. And that's okay. The cool thing about being a veterinarian is that you can do anything. And so back to that Minnesota decision, one of the main reasons, aside from wanting to be in a city, for me, that I chose that school is that they did have a dental rotation, or a dentistry department, which allowed students to rotate through. So that was of great interest to me. Being that I knew I wanted to be a specialist in dentistry and oral surgery, or at least get that training. And so that was one of the reasons. But now fast forward to Brooklyn, and where I did my internship, which was Veterinary Emergency and Referral Group. Great experience, tough year. I mean, it was tough, but got through it, and it was worth it. So if you guys are considering doing an internship after you graduate from veterinary medical school, I do highly recommend it. But again, it all just depends on what your goals are. And so I did that internship. I knew I wanted to be in dentistry, so I applied for residencies. Just, again, very competitive. Finally got one. So I completed a 2-year residency at an animal hospital in Colorado. And that was, again, very good experience. Really, really high volume, lots of hand-on. And now I'm practicing in Southern California. So the long story short, I guess, is, hold on, I have to adjust this cat on my lap. But for those of you that are not quite sure what you're doing or where your career is going to take you when you're in vet school, just realize you've got time. We are licensed to practice on every species in the planet except for human beings. So when you're in vet school and when you're in that clinical year, that's when you have a chance to really see what your interests are and focus on what you like, and maybe experience some things that you never thought you would. Like, I don't know, I was in equine theriogenology, and that, I hope I said that right. And I was inseminating mares, and that was an experience that was elective. I didn't have to take that rotation, but I thought, you know what? Let me try it, because who knows? What if I'm really good at it? What if I really like it? Same with, I did a raptor rotation at the University of Minnesota's Raptor Center, and that was one of the most amazing, slightly terrifying experiences of my life, learning to work with raptors. I mean, those birds are no joke. So working with bald eagles and owls and falcons, all with a broken finger. I broke this finger when I was in Minnesota. It's never been quite right. It's better now, but that was an amazing experience, elective, but hey, I knew what the core curriculum was and I knew ultimately what I wanted to do, but why not try different things? It's part of your education, so put yourselves out there and try something different, try something that's new. For the general public, so one really cool thing about being a veterinarian is that you can, unlike being a human physician, is that you can start practice as soon as you're out of veterinary medical school. So, I mean, walking down that graduation aisle, you can start practicing the next day as long as you have fulfilled your licensing requirements in whichever state. Now, I'm talking specifically about the United States, since I realize this is gonna be, it's on YouTube, it's gonna be worldwide. So vets, we have a really cool and unique opportunity to just start working and start practicing medicine as soon as we're out of vet school. So that is pretty cool. But if you're kind of on the fence, you're not quite sure, you don't know, so now this is for the vet students, you don't know whether you want to pursue general practice medicine and surgery, or whatever that would entail, or if you want to go into research, or if you want to do emergency medicine, or a specialty, of course, then considering an internship is a really good idea. The myth out there, and I don't know how much it's true, I mean, you gain experience, but I remember hearing that, you know, you do an internship and it's the equivalent of 3 to 5 years of private practice experience. And so I don't know if that number is actually very accurate, but I gained a hell of a lot of experience during that internship year. So that's also dependent on which practice you decide to go into. Is it a university or is it a private practice? Is it very high volume? Is it in a city? Is it a little bit more rural? So it really just all depends also on what species you want to focus on. I knew I wanted to do small animal. That means dog and cat, and occasional pocket pets if they came along. And so doing a small animal intensive internship in a metropolitan city for me was very important. One, because it was a city I'm from, went back to New York City. Two, because I wanted that high volume, that high caseload. I wanted to hit the ground running, and I certainly did. My mentors at the time, I mean, I was known as the Hurricane. I was Hurricane Jess. But anyway, the point is, if you're on the fence about what you want to do as you graduate school with your career in veterinary medicine, doing an internship is probably going to be a good idea for you. So that's one piece of advice for you guys. And then for the general public, again, internship trained vets have been in the trenches and have gained a lot of experience. Unfortunately, however, you guys don't really know who did what. You see your doctor, your veterinarian, and you just know they're your doctor, but this is just to kind of give you some insight as far as what we go through to be the best doctors we can be for your pets. So that takes care of the internship thing. Now, not every veterinarian that does an internship, whether it's small animal, large animal, exotics mean pocket pets, birds, even zoo animal, so that's what exotics mean, lizards. So for those individuals who do internships, doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to need to go on and do residency. So again, unlike human medicine, where those doctors or MDs do internships and residencies, they must do that before they start practicing on their own. We have a unique opportunity where we don't have to do that, but we can if we want to. So think about all the different types of vets there are. There is a specialty, I mean, all the human specialties exist in veterinary medicine, the majority of them. So we've got cardiologists, we got behaviorists, we've got dentists, we have internal medicine specialists, surgeons, neurosurgeons, geez, I mean, the list goes on and on and on. So those individuals that have elected to pursue that career route, you know, those specializations in veterinary medicine have gone above and beyond with additional training and additional testing. And so it's very rigorous. We sacrifice a lot, again, to be the best veterinarians, the best doctors for your dogs, cats, horses, lizards, birds, you name it, whatever creatures, or all creatures. And so we work really hard And we put ourselves through a lot to get there. Now, for the vet students, I'm switching back and forth, but for the vet students, ask questions. If you are off, you know, depending on which school you go to, if you have a summer break or a winter break, talk to the veterinarians that have been mentors in your lives up until the point where you got into vet school, and really seek their advice and talk to them about what their experiences were, what they recommend. They, as your mentors, likely know you as individuals and may be able to recommend or suggest specific fields that you may be really good at or may excel in. And so think about that when you have that off time. And even your professors in veterinary medical school, talk to them and get their feedback. And you know, you may learn different things if you put about yourselves, if you put yourselves out there. But take advantage of the mentorship that you have, because it can go a long way. And you know what? The other cool thing is, if you decide you want to go down a certain route and maybe it wasn't for you, you can always change your mind. Remember, you are a veterinarian. You are a doctor in veterinary medicine. You can do anything as long as you have a plan and are organized. So that is to just give you guys, you know, the general public, along with veterinary medical students or anyone that is thinking about going into the field, some perspective and some information, and hopefully some clarity where maybe you couldn't find some before, maybe there wasn't a resource, or maybe you were too shy to ask. That's what I'm here for. I want to help you guys. So comment below if you have specific questions or suggestions for topics for new videos, because again, I'm here for you guys and I'm putting myself out there because I want to help as many people as I can. Again, whether it's veterinary medicine, bodybuilding, which I can do a separate video on, or I'm going to do a separate video on soon, how I managed to get through veterinary medical school, and how I got through my internship and my residency and all of that stuff. So let me know, you guys. So subscribe and comment below and spread the word. Dr. Wilson's got a YouTube channel. Bye.